Hi, I'm Sandy Johnson, and I'm going to give you a little input of who I am and where I come from. Born and raised here in Sarasota, Florida. And I've got some pictures I'll show you as I go. So, I am a self taught horse trainer. Very fortunate that my dad was a horseman. His best friend, Herschel Williams, was a horseman, breeder, and also a horse trader. So I've learned to do a little bit of everything through my life. So I started out at a very young age. I was very fortunate, and I'll throw this very antique picture, which would have been in the 60s, of my family. And this little Palomino that my brother was holding was my very first horse given to me. And that was the start of my journey. So I feel very fortunate that my dad was a horseman, even though he wasn't a horse trainer per se, he owned a feed store, that I was able to have the opportunity to ride a lot of horses. This is the love of my life. This horse was given to me from Herschel Williams as a weanling. I broke and trained her myself through a lot of trial and error and ended up showing her for many years, raised babies off of her, and kept her until her life ended. This is me at a little oak and show. If you can see, we had roach manes, whole different thing. This would have been probably in the 70s. Things have changed a lot since then. But the whole idea is trying to let everybody know me a little bit and where I've come from. I was very strong in FFA and 4-H, showed cattle. And then because I was raised in the show world, I showed halter horses a lot. Started with halter horses, went to Western pleasure horses, and that day they were very natural. They carried their heads on a very level base. They were slow legged. They walked, trot, and looked pretty natural. As the years changed, they become more mechanical, although I did stay in that world for a long time. While I was training horses, I started, because of my background, my dad and Herschel Williams, I started trading. And I would buy horses and get them broker, and I'd sell them. I bought, I think at 14, I was given riding lessons, and I bought a horse out of a pasture for like $150. Real gentle, got her broke, and was given lessons at $10 a lesson, and made pretty good money. So I could buy myself a truck and a horse trailer. When I graduated high school, I was set up and already training horses for myself and giving riding lessons. I did want to have some fun, so I bought another horse for $350. Surprised I can remember that. It's been so long ago. And I made him a pole and barrel horse. He was an own son of Macanudo Bar King. And I had a blast. Won some money on him. That was my fun horse while I was still showing pleasure horses, halter horses. As the years go by, I became a teacher. I love to teach. I coach 4-H teams, paint youth teams, you name it. I've shown apps, palominos, paints for 30 years before I moved on to a different world. This mare I bought when I was gone on the road one time and made her into my all-around horse. This is on a magazine of the Paint Horse Journal. And my granddaughter, our youngest granddaughter of 5 grandkids, is now competing on this horse in the kids' rodeos. I barrel raced, pole bend, team roped, and shot off this mare. And now at 24, she's carrying her youngest granddaughter to the rodeos. Excuse me. Me and my husband team roped together for years, which I love. We still actually own this horse right here that I'm heading on. He's 34 years old, and we bought him very young, and he became our daughter's horse, Jamie Lee's horse, and he also did everything. Goat tying, barrel racing, roping, you name it, he had to do everything. It's a Johnson horse, and where's the Double J brand? They have to work for a living there. They don't live here. So then went into the paints and the pintos. Real strong, like I said, about 30 years, showed halter horses, hunt seat horses. That can't say that's my favorite thing, but if you want to win the all around, you have to do everything. Showed some really pretty, classy horses. This is one of really nice looking mare. I was showing her in the trail there. Hauled to all the world shows, national shows, and somebody even dressed me up and made me pleasure drive on this big, stout stud horse I was running all around on. Also done fundraisers. This was called Make a Wish, where the cow horse trainers, as I move on to cow horse trainers and hunter jumper people, we teamed up, and I jumped and she rode my cow horse. And we raised money for the Make-A-Wish, which was a lot of fun. So if you haven't figured out by now, I like variety. Variety is the spice of life. I like the all around. I've always run the all around, and I probably always will continue doing that. My younger days, I wrote everything and anything. Met a family friend of mine, their whole family is good friends of ours, because I was riding bad horses. Young, foolish, fearless, breaking horses no matter what. And a friend of mine came to me. I called her Yank because she's my first Yankee friend since I'm a Florida cracker. And she had a horse that was bucking her way off. So I rode her horse, and we are lifetime friends still. And it moved on now. Her kids and her grandkids, and I think she has a great grandkid now, are all riding horses. So you can tell it becomes a family thing. I think about all the people I have, oh my gosh, met in my lifetime traveling the highways with a horse trailer behind. Groups and groups of people, no matter what discipline I've done, you just meet the most amazing people ever, and they become your lifetime friends, and they help you along the journey. Too many people to list. And I tell you one thing, I wish I'd have kept a journal on how many horses I have rode in my lifetime. Not a clue. I don't know. At my age, this is my birthday month, I'm going to be 66. So I've got at least over 50 years of training. Now, I do recommend, and I have had mentors through the years when I was a kid and up through adulthood, when I've changed disciplines, because I jumped out of the Western world, Western pleasure and all that, into the rein cow horse 14 years ago. Blindly jumped in, sold all my tack, got cow horse saddles, and boy, we went to it. And it's been very good to me, no doubt. I've had my share of world national titles. And I moved all my non-pros and my youth kids to it too. Then I jumped into the cowboy mounted shooting, which is also a good family event. Our kids have done it. A lot of my clients have gone to that, and that's always fun and exciting. I started showing the cow horse, like I said, about 14 years ago, and there's nothing more exciting than that, to work a cow. Then I went to the mounted shooting, and this is, yes, Alley Cat, the horse that I've had for so many years. It does a little bit of everything. So as I said before, mentors are important, of course. Nobody knows everything. You can't just automatically know it. You can learn how to train a horse, and you can go through your ups and downs and trials and errors to get that horse broke and trained you want. But you're just not born with every bit of knowledge. I did things different because I was fortunate enough to have a family support, and I trained out of my parents' house until I was married at the young age of 18. And then I moved out and trained myself. Right now, still on the same piece of dirt we bought in 1975. With me and my husband of 47 years. And a lot of trainers work at different places, and they get that knowledge from this trainer and that trainer and that trainer. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that because I ran my own training facility. So there's good and bad. I've had to learn a lot by myself, but I've had those mentors, and I've gone to them. When I jumped in a cow horse, I had people that I went to and say, hey, what do I do with this? And how do I work that? And how do I improve on this? And, you know, you have to learn everything. So I'm always telling everybody, be open-minded about getting help. If you don't know it, ask. I grew up in a non-techie world where you just went to people that had the knowledge and you asked questions. Now everything's on videos and it's out there, and you can just push a button on your phone and find anything you want. So, but experience counts for a lot. So I would go to people that were at the top of their game. And at my age, I'm still learning. I went to a cow horse clinic with Corey Cushing's last year. No, maybe this year. I don't know. Anyway, he's a $3 million rider in the National Rein Cow Horse. Why would you not go to his clinic and try to pick up some tips? Absolutely. I didn't know how to team rope. I wasn't born with a rope in my hand. When I started team roping, I went to a Walt Woodard clinic. And such an experience, and it just boosted my skills, okay? So I'm always saying, search for help, especially when you change disciplines, and improve on it. The biggest thing is it's 7 days a week. When you commit to horse training or this lifestyle, use 7 days. Whether you feel like it or not, you got to get up and go take them horses. You got to ride. I feel like my specialty is coaching. I love to coach. When I take an adult or a kid, and from the beginning to the end, whether they compete and go to a world show and win a title, or they just go to a little backyard rodeo and they win and they're happy, then I'm happy. They're my success. I have been doing rodeo camps for 13 years. Excuse me. And I decided when I was going to do a rodeo camp, it was not going to be a babysitting camp during the summer like a lot of the camps are. So my rodeo camps are 5 days of hard riding. The kids show up with their own horses every day and ride from 9 to 2. And you name it on a horse, they do it. From sorting cattle to goat tying to running barrels and poles and relay team competition. And proud to say a lot of those kids have gone on to rodeo pretty hard, and makes you feel good. There's nothing better than being in that arena with 30 kids and they're laughing and playing and having a big time and they're learning skills. Excuse me. So that's been my main thing. And my last competition that I went to, that I want to brag about, is this horse right here, Jake. Belongs to Paige Farr. I won the senior working cow horse at the American Ranch Horse World Show this past July. And what a cool horse he was. There's his world title. And I also entered in American Top Ranch Hand, and that was a blast. I didn't win it. If I could have caught this heifer, what I was in line to do, I could have won it because I was sitting really good. When we went in the last night, I was sitting third. There was 20 of us. We had a blast. It was really good competition among trainers, and I felt like I was really mounted on a really great horse. I was happy. We had to do our reining work, our herd work down the fence, and we had to rope. And unfortunately, I think only 4 caught in the rope, and I wasn't one of them. But good experience. So my thoughts are, reach out to trainers as you need them. Try to set, especially your kids, up with good quality horses. If you can't afford a top horse, buy an older one. Buy an older horse that is safe for your kid. Let them have a good experience. Then step them up. I do the same thing with my non-pros. If they start on a cow horse or a shooting horse and the horse is too much, they're not going to have a good time. So start them out easy. Start them on something they can learn with and enjoy. And then as their riding ability steps up and they want to compete on a higher level, then you can always step to another horse. If you start these kids with too young a horse or not a horse that suits them, they'll lose interest. And kids come and go for sure. And the longer you can keep them in this sport, the better off they're going to be as adults. And it teaches them responsibility, keeps them out of the drug scene and getting in trouble. And like I said, they have to care for that horse. If they want to win, not every kid, some of them just love their horse and want to have a good time. But if they want to win, they've got to commit big time. And that horse is going to take a lot of their time. And hopefully keep them out of trouble. But anyway, hopefully you guys will enjoy some of my TikToks and my videos. And I'm moving into the tech world, which I have never been in before. I've spent my entire life on a horse. And I know that the good Lord has blessed me to have a lifestyle like this. And it is definitely a lifestyle. But anyway, look forward to seeing y'all. Any questions you got, just kind of let you know who I am, the people that don't know me. And send me your videos. I'll critique them what I can, and maybe we can help you along on your journeys to the top of the world.